This is basically the Elvis Presley version of The Prince and the Pauper. The Identical, directed by Dustin Marcelino. This movie is the idea of what if Elvis Presley's stillborn twin brother actually lived. In this movie, Elvis Presley is not named Elvis. He is named Drexel the Dream Hemsley. His parents lived in Decatur, Alabama during the time of the Great Depression. They couldn't raise twin boys on the money they had, so they're forced to give up one of the boys for adoption. They give him up to Pastor Reese Wade and his wife Louise, played by Ray Liotta and Ashley Judd. So the movie follows Ryan Wade while Drexel Hemsley becomes Elvis Presley. Even though he's not named Elvis Presley, the movie's named Drexel the Dream Hemsley, living the life of Elvis, singing like Elvis, dancing like Elvis, being in the movies that are similar to Elvis Presley's movies. Meanwhile, Ryan Wade, his parents want him to follow the path of the preacher, but he wants to go into music just like his brother. He dances like Elvis, he sings like Elvis as well. And this guy sees Drexel Hemsley's first record in stores, listens to it, and it doesn't dawn on him that maybe he is Drexel's brother, even though he sees very well that he looks like Drexel, and all these people say, "You look like Drexel Hemsley." And he says, "Yeah, I get that all the time." His family never tells him who he really is until much later. Blake Green has a love interest in the movie, played by Aaron Cottrell. So much of this movie doesn't make sense. The Hemsley family actually did a mock funeral for Dexter Ryan, which is Ryan Wade's real name. They buried a shoebox, even though the shoebox was empty. And why? There's no reason to do that. And all the aspects of Elvis Presley's life, being in the military and singing, that part was lived by Ryan Wade. Ryan wins this talent contest where he has to sing Drexel Hemsley songs just like Drexel Hemsley. A talent scout sees him winning the contest and signs him up on this tour where they call him the Identical, and he goes around the country singing like Elvis Presley, or should I say, singing like Drexel Hemsley. And Ryan wants to incorporate some of his own songs into the tour, but his agent says, no, nobody wants to see you doing that. There's only one Drexel Hemsley, there's only one Elvis Presley, he says. Like, wait a minute, Elvis Presley exists in this fictional world? That makes no sense! As well as it doesn't make sense to do a mock funeral and keep the secret that Ryan Wade is not Ryan Wade, he's Ryan Hemsley for so long. Another thing I didn't like about this movie is the consequences of keeping the secret. What happens to Drexel Hemsley in the movie, which I don't want to spoil if you decide to see this movie. This is such a bad movie. It's not entirely bad. The singing is pretty good. The acting is pretty good. It's just the writing, the movie itself, and so much around it. It's just not a good movie. I wouldn't recommend seeing this movie at all. I'm going to give this movie an F. Don't see this movie.